Hey everybody, it is Bob, and it's Bob Saget's Here for You. That's what this is, and I am happy to be back with another episode. I believe it's 8,425, which is also my temperature right now. No, it's not, and that is not good humor at this time, and I hope none of you have fevers. I know some of you do, and some of you are hurting, and I'm thinking about you all the time, actually. It's an interesting obsession to care about other people, which is, I guess, the positive of this time, and to regroup and then come back strong and hopefully keep your health and stay at home and practice safety and all that stuff. Wear a condom over your whole body. Just cover yourself in plastic. Just, Saran works. No, it doesn't. Anyway, I'm at home. My wife's in another room. She was doing Pilates this morning. I'm just sitting around wanting to do this show and talk to people today because I feel like my outreach program has been going very well. People call up. They call the number up there, and they leave a message. It's right there on your thing when you clicked on this, and it tells you, yeah, I'm very technical, and it tells you, to call me, leave a message or a question that you have. And then the other thing you got to do is review this afterward and rate it and then subscribe. That's what you got to do. I'm told. I'm not a fan of the review it and rate it because some people might say, negative stuff because there's a lot of haters. But you know what? I've had a career of that. So I just keep doing what I'm doing and I make people laugh. And the people I call feel like they know me. So I just want to be, here for people and talk to them because I enjoy it. When I was like 7 years old, I would sit on the toilet and be, I'd finished my stuff already. And I would hold up like a box of tissues and do a commercial for it and pretend as I was talking to the hamper that I was across from the toilet. I didn't go to the bathroom in the hamper. That would have been wrong. It would have soiled the clothes, that double soiled, cubed. And I would have done commercials. I would do commercials and I would pretend I was hosting a talk show and I was going to go to med school and stuff. And then I became a comedian. So it's kind of a natural thing. I've always kind of felt like a broadcaster. The first show I had before I did Full House was a show on CBS that they fired me from. It was called The Morning Program, and it was on CBS against Good Morning America and Today's Show in 1987 and 86, 87. And I was on it for 5 months. It lasted 9, and they fired me because they said I was too hot for morning television. I was asked by one of the hosts, Marriott Hartley, very nice person. She said, are you a type A person? And I said, well, I'm working on my anus. And I meant A-N-E-S-S, but they thought I said anus. And she said, go to your room. And they sent me to my room at the top of the stairs in the set, and there was nowhere to go. And I had to stand there. Commercial breaks were, they let the show run longer. There was more content then. There weren't as many commercials. And I had to stand there for like 15 minutes. And it was pretty degrading. And then the next day I showed up and my chair was gone as the third sidekick or whatever I was. And then I was on the steps just as an announcer going, it's 15 minutes after the hour. And I decided that's the end of that. I ain't going to do that anymore. So I ended up somehow getting this job on this show, Full House. And then I just cleaned for a living. And here I am doing it just to be living. So I want to hear from you guys. You guys have called this number at the top of the thing and left a message and have a question or something. I'm calling a guy named BJ. I don't know where he is located. I don't know what area code this is. I mean, I do. I can't tell you guys. I'm going to keep it confidential. And this will be BJ. And I think he'll pick up. I think that's the kind of guy BJ is. I think he's a quicker picker-upper. He's a bountiful guy.
Hello?
Hey, BJ. Bob Saget here. How you doing?
Bob, how are you, sir?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. Thank you.
Thanks so much. I can't believe you're calling. That's awesome.
No, but you left a nice message, so why the hell not, right?
Yeah.
Well, between us...
Yeah, no, I actually...
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I'd actually interviewed you a couple years back, or maybe about a year and a half or so ago when you played at the MGM in Northfield. I got to meet you after the show. That was super kind of you to take the time to say hi to my wife and I.
Oh, that was really nice. I remember that. And you guys are still together, right?
Yes, we are. All so good.
And are you quarantined together still?
Yeah, we are. We are. So, she's actually she works at a nursing home and stuff. So, that's been a little bit tense, whatever. And I've been working from home here. So, no, we're doing okay as best we can so far. How about yourself?
Is she okay? She's in a nursing home working, right?
She is, yeah. So, but they in Ohio they locked that stuff down really really fast. So which was good, obviously. So they haven't had any issues or anything like that. They're all so far, and God willing they won't hear anytime soon, or hopefully it's all good till they write everything out.
And she and they don't allow visitors there, correct?
No, they don't. Yeah, they shut that. I think they did that in Ohio a couple weeks before they did it everywhere. I mean, I think it's pretty much everywhere now, but yeah, they did that in Ohio, thankfully, kind of a couple weeks early, so as to not expose the any of the residents to anything, and coincidentally the workers as well too.
Well, please send my regards and best health wishes and safety for her and for you. But give her my regards if you would, please.
Oh, I absolutely will. That's super. Yeah, I said that's super nice of you. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about one of my absolute comedy favorites, and I know he's one of yours too. Rodney Dangerfield. I just wondered if you had kind of any good Rodney Dangerfield stories you might be able to share, and kind of how you first met him.
Oh my God, I have so many of them, and I've talked about them. I wrote a book called Dirty Daddy, and I talked about it. But people now can get the audiobook. It's 7 hours long. It's better than Ambien. It'll put you down. But Rodney had met me. I was 24 years old, and I was at the Comedy Store in La Jolla in San Diego area,
Mm-hmm.
and Rodney came in with two ladies that he'd met. And he was staying in a place called La Costa, which is a spa to clean out. But Rodney had, been smoking pot every day of his life, and showbiz since he was 20 or whatever. And he was originally in the aluminum siding business. People don't know that his name was originally Jacob Cohen. Then he changed it to Jack Roy, and then some club owner made him Rodney Dangerfield. So he comes in, and I'd been on the Merv Griffin show like 10 times or something by then, and that was an afternoon show that was kind of like Ellen. It was a lot like Ellen, actually, except he hadn't come out, and that's nice. But what happened was Rodney walks in, and he looks at me, and he goes, hey man, you're funny. I saw you on the Merv Griffin show. You're funny. You got, your brain never stops. You're Jewish. You're never gonna be happy. You're never gonna have any friends. But you're funny. You're funny, man. And I'm like, this is great. I got a best new friend. And he said, I said, what are you doing down here? He says, I was in the Costa. I had to clean out, and I can't do it. No booze, no coke, no pot, no pills. I can't do it, man. I can't do it. And I'm like, wow, this is more information than you tell a shrink. And we actually we became friends that night at that Comedy Store in La Jolla. There was a comedian named Bruce Baum, who was a good friend, and Robin Williams was there also both nights of that weekend. And it turned out I was staying at the beach. The Comedy Store, Mitzi Shore, had a condo for all of the comedians to stay at. And I slept in a bed where David Letterman had brought his dogs, so there were like fleas in the bed that they never defleed. And so it was an itchy weekend. But Rodney all of a sudden showed up in the condo and was like, how you doing, man? I got nowhere to go. And then Robin was around, and we were all hanging out at the beach, and I was a young guy who couldn't get a job, but I was doing stand-up and going to acting school. And Rodney was really, the best story that came out of it was just his sincerity, because he loved young comedians. That's why he put me on his first young comedian special on HBO, along with Sam Kinison and Rita Rudner and Louis Anderson and Yaakov. A bunch of people were on it, and Bob Nelson and Richie Gold. Interesting. Some people that you know better than others, and it's just, showbiz is strange. And he said to me, man, just keep going. You're funny. You got talent. Just go like a tank. Just put blinders on. Go like a tank. Just people are going to try to keep you from making it. Nobody wants you to succeed. Just go like a tank. And I think that's kind of a theme for where we're at in the world right now. Just that philosophy of you just got to keep, in your career, and many people don't have one right now, but they will. I mean, this is going to pass, and we're going to come back. And not to use anything but positive rhetoric, I'm not quoting anyone that we watch on the news. I'm just saying it's human nature. We are going to come back. And this is, as they say, a wimpy virus, and it's killing people. We have a wimpy virus killing people, and it is something that does die. It's not like it lasts forever, but it's taking people's lives. But within a year, I do firmly believe in my gut that we'll be back, and we'll be back strong. So that's where I'm at right now. So Rodney was kind of an inspiration to me and built my confidence in telling me he thought I was funny, because I thought he was the funniest person I'd ever seen. So that's a Rodney story for you.
Nice, man. No, that's awesome. And great, obviously great advice, to live by, especially now. But the one joke that I did, real quick, I'll tell you, and then I'm sure you're making a lot of these calls, but I heard this on Gilbert's podcast, and I actually use this. So I front a rock and roll band here out this way, and one night, we're on stage and we're playing, and we're really playing great. Like, it's where everything's locked in together. But the crowd, I mean, you can hear a pin drop at the end of every song. It's like, and there's a lot of people there, and they're just looking at us like we're playing something completely foreign to them. And so, the joke was that I'd heard from Gilbert, and I actually used this on stage, borrowed it from Rodney. I said, "Hey, it was in Canton, Ohio, which is nearby where I live in Youngstown." But I was
I've been there. What's the name of the band?
The band's called Turbo Lovers. It's just an original rock and roll band. We kind of sound like AC/DC, but yeah. So we're on stage, and I go, we're kind of dying to slow down. So I go, "Yo, Caitlyn, if anybody tells you you're a good crowd, you spit in their face, okay?" And I got the, doing the Rodney thing, and they all just looked at me and stared at me, and then we went to the next song. But that was my ball ring Rodney for the stage.
That's a very clever line. I actually have never heard that, because it's basically telling them they're a shit crowd, and exactly. and that they should respond with hostility. You're a shit crowd, and to prove that you're a shit crowd, spit into someone's face. That's nice.
Right,
One of my first heckles, I was in Cleveland, and I was on stage at a place called the Cleveland Comedy Club, which used to be a chicken slaughtering house, and that's the truth. And they just did very little. They just changed the carpeting, and I guess to remove the blood stains, but it was red. And I'm on stage, and some guy in the back of the room stands up. He's like 8 feet tall, and it's one of my first ad-libs, I remember. And the guy goes, or audience, crowd work they call it these days, but it's just basically talking to people. And the guy stands up, and I go, "Sir, where are you going?" And he doesn't respond. He's kind of like Lenny from Mice and Men. And I said, "What's your name?" And he goes, "Sid." And I said, "Well, sit down and shut up." And the crowd responded really well, but I had to get security afterward, because I thought he was literally going to grind my bones to make his bread. I mean, he seemed like just a horrible giant, just an evil giant, and I was Jack. Well, BJ, I don't know what to say. It's so nice to talk to you, and it's just so cool.
Well, yeah, no, likewise. Thank you so very much for the call. This was a pleasant and needed surprise today from all the all the craziness we're getting every minute in the news.
Yeah, we're really getting it. We're getting it bad, but it'll subside. But it always has to get worse till it gets better, unfortunately. And I hate cliches, but that one is just where we're at right now. And it will get better. It will. But I'm scared for all the people that I'm not. I guess concern is a better word, because as we all know, worry and all this stress it creates, whether it be financial or health, that's a third of your problem, if not a half sometimes, that can drive people crazy during this, and can really be bad for your health. So the stress, as much stress as we can release. So if anybody's listening to this, go into the other room and do a quick release. You'll feel better. That's my advice. That's how we get to a crisis. Yeah, if you're if you're really having a hard time and you're going through a bad crisis, touch yourself. That's all I got to say. Not you, BJ.
Well,
I didn't want to offend you.
Well, let's wait till we get off the phone with each other before.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah,
but this is a different kind of call.
I'm staying dressed all day. I'm dressed in a burlap bag. It's not coming off. So you take care of yourself. Send my best to your wife and tell her it's incredibly noble work she's doing, please.
Oh, I will do it. Thank you so very much for the call. Like I said, this was great. Thank you so much, Mr. Saget.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing you again.
Oh, absolutely. Take care, buddy. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, man. See, his wife works in a nursing home. That's very, very incredibly giving at this time. And speaking of giving, we got people that want to give back, and they're sponsors. So let's take a quick break. Support for Bob Saget's Here For You is brought to you by Manscaped. That's right, Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. I knew somebody that used to be the best at it, but not now. Not now that Manscaped's in the game. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Somebody wrote that, but you know what? Think about it. A tool for your tool. That's amazing. You won't even be a tool anymore if you're all Manscaped. It's just more endearing. You're more childlike, and yet you're cool and metro. Well, I have a story about not having groomed. It was pretty bad back in the day. It was really bad. I mean, I had like a nanny goat beard down there, and small little critters would want to climb in it and use it as a tree swing when I would have my legs parted down at the swim pond, down at the lake. But I will tell you, it's important to keep yourself groomed because you're not going to meet anybody. And even if you're alone, say you're all alone, you're not with anybody. You're just holed up in your place. You want to be able to see the hold up area. You want to see all those nooks and crannies. And to do that, you got to clean it up. Clean that thing up. And there's ways to do it. You know, you might not know how to even sit and pivot. You could sit in front of a little mirror. Say someone you know has a makeup mirror, and you could put it there right in front of your junk and clean it so you don't nick your bag. If you nick your bag, that was actually a joke of mine once that I was going to change my name in Vegas to Nick Bag. So if you see Nick Bag up on the marquee, that's me. But I'm telling you, you got to just keep that groin area happy and airy and clean and groomed. And so what I'm going to tell you is something from the heart. Manscaped has redesigned the electronic trimmer. They have redesigned it. Do you know how much work went into that? The Manscaped engineering team spent 18 months. 18 months. Do you know what else they could have done? Nothing as important as this. They perfected the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created. That's right. This is a dream commercial. It's not even a commercial. It's a philosophy. That's what this is. And they just released. It was a quick release, but they released the new improved Lawnmower 3.0. That's right. You trim that lawn. You trim those hedges. You're going to have the most beautiful manscaping ever. Ever. Their third-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to prevent manscaping accidents. And you know they happen within 2 blocks of your home. Millions of balls are about to be nick-free thanks to Manscaped's advanced skin-safe technology. Do you know how important it is? And as you get older, I'm a little bit older. I'm not an old man, but I'm middle-aged plus. And I don't want, they hang down. I'm sorry, but the sack gets saggy. And I'm Bob Saget. And you don't want to nick that stuff. You don't want to have someone like underneath a rooster hanging between your legs. You want to keep that stuff clean. You don't want to be cutting it with a razor. You don't want to be using scissors and a trimmer and then a razor. And then all that happens is you get hurt. You can't get hurt. Your junk is too important to the world. Manscaping accidents are finally a thing of the past. We've been waiting for this technology. This is the most important scientific breakthrough, I think, of this entire century. When I tell you this is premium, I mean premium. I mean unleaded. The battery will last up to 90 minutes, so you can take a longer shave. 90 minutes. Could you imagine just spending 90 minutes trimming up your ball sack? Do you know what a great use of 90 minutes that is? You could be doing a lot of things. You could be learning math. You could be doing your homework. You could be, splitting the atom. Why split atom if you can split hairs? Don't split the atom. Keep your yourself groomed. Groom that thing. Are you listening to me? I'm talking to you, son. And one of the coolest features, by the way, is the LED light, which illuminates grooming areas for a closer and more precise trimming. It's an LED light. It's amazing. Limos don't have this kind of lighting. This is amazing. You can't trim yourself up in a limo with an LED light, and you don't know where that limo's been. You know where the Manscaper's been. You know where the Lawnmower 3.0 has been, because it's brand new when you get it. They've also upgraded to a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology, and it's trademarked. 7,000 RPMs on your balls. There's nothing better than that. Nothing. Peace on earth, close second. And let's not forget about the charging stand. You have to have a charging stand. You show your mower off loud and proud right in the middle of the damn living room, right on the piano, because this intelligently designed stand is a convenient charging dock powered by USB. The USB plugs into anything. It's universal until 2 years from now when they come out with something better. But till then, there'll be converters. And if you're listening to me speak right now, I want you to experience it firsthand for yourself, in your first hand, whichever is the more dominant. You trim that junk of yours. You hear me? I'm like a dad to you. You trim your junk and you stay in school. Now, here's the big part. Well, I don't know if you got a big part, so I'm not judging. By the way, with manscaping, it makes it look bigger. And that alone, besides a magnifying glass, is the key to life. You can get 20% off and free shipping with the code SAGET, S-A-G-E-T, at manscaped.com. That was very hard to say without laughing, because my name is the code that gets you 20% off and free shipping, okay? You just put in the code SAGET at manscaped.com, and your balls will thank you, and I will thank you, and all of the listeners will thank you, because I'm almost done. 20% off and free shipping with the code SAGET at manscaped.com. 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code SAGET, S-A-G-E-T. Finally, my name has a use. All right, we are back from a break. I had to tell you that, because otherwise you wouldn't have known it. And it's Bob Saget's here for you. And it's so odd when your name is in a sentence. That's your title. This is I'm going to call somebody else because I really enjoy talking to people. This is Caitlyn. Again, I don't know these area codes. I should look them up, but what's the point of that? I like the spontaneity. This would be Caitlyn.
Oh.
Hi, Caitlyn. It's Bob Saget. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for calling and leaving a message. It's really nice of you.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. It's awesome that you're doing this.
Well,
Are you
thank you.
staying safe and healthy?
Yeah, I am here in a house, and my wife and I went for a walk yesterday, the first one in a long time, and we made it back and we're safe. So,
Awesome.
So where are you located?
I am from Indiana, but I live in Newport Beach now.
Oh, that's cool. And so
Yeah.
Newport Beach, I would imagine, is under the same kind of constraints that we're in here in Los Angeles.
Kinda. I mean, people are a lot richer than from where I come from, so I feel like they think a lot of people are going out. I feel like they think that it doesn't apply to them.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that in a lot of places. There's a bit of entitlement, and I don't know if they
I'm
realize
from,
it.
I'm from Indiana, so we don't have that. So, but yeah, it's still pretty shut down. There's no traffic, which is crazy to me.
Are you staying indoors most of the time?
Yeah, I am, because I have severe asthma, so I'm high risk. I have a 1-year-old, so I'm trying not to leave. My husband is essential because he works for the government. I'm talking to Bob Saget.
He works for what? I'm
Bob
sorry?
Saget. My husband's essential because he works for government defense contracts. So
Oh.
yeah. So he has to leave, and he mostly does most of the errands.
Is he listening? Did you have to tell him that you're talking to me just now?
I just told him he walked out of the room though because the baby was crying.
Oh, the baby. Oh, you guys are an adorable couple. That's
Thanks. We have a little 7-year-old named Michael and a 1-year-old named Veronica.
Oh, well, that keeps you busy. And
Oh yeah.
it's kind of interesting. How do you explain this to your 7-year-old?
Well, he hates school, so he's just really excited about that. He watches political videos on YouTube. He's a weirdo, but so he's kind of just enjoying being off school.
Can't you switch him over to Family Guy or South Park or something? Well, that doesn't help. I'm trying to think of a better show. Does he?
No,
Does he
we
play
watch
video?
a lot of I try to keep him off YouTube. We watch a lot of Marvel movies. That's our thing together.
Right, which are all about the end of the world.
True, but the good guys always win in the end. So
that is true, except for let's not go there.
Infinity War, but then Endgame.
But don't show him that.
Well, thank you for calling. I do have a question though.
That's what I wanted.
John Stamos saved someone from a burning car. Is that true? Like a car crash?
I wouldn't be surprised. I should know this. I don't know. I know that he's been in cars that there was a lot of smoke from friction.
Okay.
Yeah, just him with another person. But I don't. Saved someone from a burning car. It sounds like him. I mean, he has done. We both actually, as dear friends, have actually in different ways saved each other a couple of times. Whether it be
really?
from different things that have happened in our lives. We both had a lot of death. We both had a lot of depression. Just from all the people.
Yeah, I've been through depression myself. I had a really few rough years and some suicidal attempts, and then I had an opiate problem for a while. I've been clean for 5 years, so I've been there too. But things are a lot brighter now, even with everything going on. So
yeah, see, that makes me happy to hear.
To hear that even celebrities go through that kind of stuff.
Well, years ago, they rarely called people celebrities. Celebrity really became. I mean, that's not totally true. I mean, in the 40s, there was like Celebrity Magazine or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But celebrity nowadays means you pretty much, it's supposed to cover the gamut of actors, writers, I guess musicians. Yeah. But to me, it's almost an insult. It's like you're an actor, you're a comedian, you're a singer, you're an athlete.
An Instagram star. Well, to me, when I think of celebrities, like I grew up on you. Like, oh, my biggest dream, because I'm 30, so my biggest dream as a kid was to be Michelle Tanner. That's all I wanted was to be Michelle Tanner. So, you were a huge part of my childhood.
That's really sweet. And I do hear it a lot. And it was based on Three Men and a Baby, basically, Full House. And it was really...
Yeah, I remember that movie.
And it took a while for it to find itself. First, it was going to be like three guys looking for girls, trying to raise three girls, more like Three Men and a Baby. And
yeah, I remember reading once that, before that, you were a little more of like a dirty, raunchier comedian. That was your style. And then you were on a sitcom that was kind of,
well, I wasn't
normal, but
I think I was more absurd. My comedy was more weird. But then as I got older, then I did go through a more R-rated phase. And now I'm kind of in between some new metamorphosis, which I was out touring this new hour that I have to do a special with, but obviously that's on a 6 to 8 month hold, understandably. So I'm doing as much as I can to entertain people through this time. And we'll continue to do it. It's not like I'm here just to do this because we've got people indoors. It's like, this is something I wanted to do anyway, but this, oddly enough, was ill-fatedly timed well. But I did a couple specials that were really blue, and then I kind of curtailed it when I was doing Full House on the video show. And then, but I did a special during the two of them, which did really well in the ratings, but critically, it was so bad I actually had it taken down from HBO, and it's not shown anywhere. You can't find it online, which is really.
I've been to a few open mic nights. It's terrifying. So.
Well, not to me, but I bombed for 8 years. So if you bomb, that's why it's terrifying. I just had no choice but to do it. You really have to be driven by something bizarre to want to be a comedian.
I mean, I'm so self-deprecating that sometimes bombing to me is even funnier.
Yeah, it is.
The jokes you can make with it while you're bombing to me is funnier. And I just have this thing where it's really hard for me to get embarrassed. So right. I guess that's what got me through it. But yeah, I think bombing can be helpful, but it is scary.
It's necessary.
A lot of vulnerability.
There's a wonderful, amazing graduation speech done by Denzel Washington where he says, fail as quickly as you can. You have to fail. If you don't fail, you can't succeed. And
I was such a perfectionist. I'm so type A that for so long I didn't try anything unless I thought I could do it perfectly, and it held me back. And I'm trying to overcome that. Like, I'd love to write comic books. That's my lifelong dream, or movies, but really comic books. And I avoided it for so long, and finally I was like, who cares if I fail? You know?
Well, it's
Who
funny.
cares?
I have a daughter like that who, never played tennis. Give her and incredibly athletic, and didn't understand why, as a little kid, when she holds the ball in the racket, why she can't just be playing amazing, and was incredibly hard on herself when she didn't realize it's, you got to at least, learn the fundamentals. But that's, I think, true of a lot of people, that we want it right away and don't understand why things can't happen right away. And
Yeah.
And then it goes back to the thing none of us want to hear. It's a marathon, not a race. The cliches, we're so over cliched right now, but it is something to do. There are people that want to do stand-ups, want to be stand-ups, and it's just, if that's what you want, you can do it. It's just, you're going to bomb for a while, and if you don't, you're very lucky, and then you will bomb at some point. You will have a hard time at some point. So
my theory is, I've embarrassed myself plenty of times. So if I embarrass myself at a stand-up night, like, what's the difference? I'll be okay. I'll survive.
That's
with everything I've been through.
Absolutely. It sounds like you've been through a bunch. And so stand-up is, and self-deprecating, you look at people like, people might have to Google Johnny Carson, but David Letterman, a lot of it, and he followed in Johnny's footsteps in the way that he revered him and his sense of humor. And a lot of it was, the joke doesn't work, and so it's the getting out of it and acknowledging, Johnny would say a joke, no one would laugh, and he'd go, well, maybe not. Maybe I should go back to the farm, or whatever. And Letterman would just be filled with anger and bitterness and that it didn't do well, and take it very to heart, and that, I think there's a huge amount of humor in that, because you see a human being.
I think vulnerability is very attractive, especially in comedy.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people realize how much bravery and vulnerability it takes to go up there and talk.
Well, it also takes a love of comedy, and you.
My husband makes so much fun of me because I'm such a comedy nerd. Like, I just have so many books on the history of comedy that I love it. It's weird.
Same here.
I have a framed 8x10 of John Belushi who watches over me at night.
Oh, there's so many losses of so many great people. It's just so sad that he's gone. I look at people like Chris Farley.
I'm so sad. I feel like he was such a product of his time. It wasn't huge recovery, especially income recovery myself. It wasn't such a huge thing yet.
Right.
And what makes me sad for him, too, is everyone just thinks of him as Bluto. And I read a lot of books on him. He was actually a really good actor. And he was not what a lot of people think of him. And that makes me sad for him.
Well, they can find some movies that he made. I think it's called Continental Divide. I'm not sure. Is that accurate?
Oh, I love that movie, the one where he's the reporter and he has to go to that's such a great movie, and nobody ever talks about it.
A friend of mine, Michael Apted, directed it, I believe, and he directed me in a movie that I was lucky to be in with Richard Pryor called Critical Condition, who was also a brilliant actor, Richard Pryor. So most of the really great comedians are really good actors.
I think a lot of them do struggle with drugs and addiction because, comedy is, if you can't laugh, you'll cry. And pain makes great comedy. Pain makes great art, pain makes great comedy. But a lot of them have a lot to deal with.
You're spot on, because I've had so much of it, and that's how I dealt with it through gallows humor and my dad's sick jokes. And
in our family, that's all we do is just, make, you can't laugh, you'll cry. Like, the first year I was in recovery at Christmas, and I was like, we used to take bets on who would ruin Christmas because my family's a mess. I feel like, oh my God, how weird is it that I'm not the favorite this year to ruin Christmas?
Well, you're my favorite. I've talked to other people. You're the favorite now. You officially have risen to the top.
I gotta feed my baby though, so I have to go.
And I have to feed mine as well.
Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you. Be well.
You have a wonderful day. Stay safe.
You too. Say hi to your baby. Tell your baby I sent my best.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, man. She's got to feed her baby. Her priorities. Wow. I don't know what to say. That's just touching. You know, we're going to take another quick break. You guys sit back, relax, pretend you're on an airplane. Why do they always say that? You're on an airplane. They go, sit back, relax. It's the same exact thing on every plane, except no one's on planes now. So hopefully in 6 months when we're on planes, they stop saying sit back, relax. They should say sit back and just pray that no one on this plane has any kind of thing that carries. I don't think that's going to go over well either. I'll think about it, and we'll be back right after this. Welcome back. It's Bob Saget's Here for You. That's the name. And you can call if you want to leave a message on the number up there on the thing. You just call up, leave a message, say what you want to talk about, ask a question, and I will call you on days like this where I feel like I want to reach out to people. And people seem to be really happy to get a call because they asked for it. And I don't know if they're thrilled when it's over. Last person had to feed her baby. I mean, her priorities, my God. So I'm going to call Leah. Leah would be somebody that might answer because most people are at home. And they might be on the other line or they don't answer a blocked call. And this is my actual phone, so it's a blocked call. And I apologize for that, everybody. So answer a blocked call when you say that you want me to call.
It's Leah.
Hey, Leah, it's Bob Saget. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for calling and leaving a message and answering the phone, too.
Of course. Why would I not answer if you might call?
That's really sweet. So it's nice to talk to you. How are you holding up through all this craziness in the world?
I think I'm doing pretty good. Certainly, like my question to you is, what weird projects have you gotten done? I've pretty much went through my entire list of stuff that's around the house, so I feel like that's pretty solid. Been doing some reading, but I'm still working full time, so I still get social interaction, albeit at a distance.
And now what work is that you can do at a distance?
I'm a police officer.
Well, man, God bless you. That is, wow. You are amazing. You're amazing.
Keeps us busy.
Keeps you busy, but you are out there on the front lines of what we're going through right now, what we're always going through. And how often are you out? How many hours do you work a day, a week?
Yeah, so it's like a normal 40-hour schedule, but our days are different. So we do like 4 days on and 2 days off. So then our days off rotate.
And what city are you in? Can I ask that?
I'd like to, since it's recorded, I'd probably like to skip that part.
I would skip it. I'm sorry I asked it. I'll let it out my question. I don't blame you. Yeah. So now, are you in a place where you have to tell people, please, you know, if they're convening and all hanging out, and do you tell them, please break it up and maintain social distancing? Do you do that kind of thing?
So, in general, yeah, we're trying to do that. I'm a detective, so I do investigations. So I'm not quite as out there as the patrol are, but you do see people still like congregating in the parks. It doesn't seem like everyone's quite listening as much. Most people are doing the best that they can. I think the more this goes on, the more serious people are taking it.
Yeah. And where we are in the curve of the whole thing, and where it's going to reach, because it is a weird thing. It is just a scary, unusual thing that you can't fight the science on, because you listen to what people warn you about, then you go, wow, this is really real, and it's exponential, and then it will stop. I'm sure you're feeling that too, that it will one day, hopefully in the not too distant future. But what is that for some people? It's like, hey, I got to go to work. Oh my God, my friend is sick, or I'm sick, but it's going to stop. I mean, that's the nature of what we've learned about it. So, and how we watched other countries. So, does that give you some hope through this whole thing?
I
So I think it's going to be a little bit longer than we think, but I'm hoping by the summer things will be back to normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
I think from what. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I'm sorry. Please.
I was just going to say, just from what I think is the hardest that I've seen for people is people that are experiencing the loss of a loved one to not have the ability to mourn with friends and family. That to me seems like the hardest thing that I've seen people go through.
Yeah. My wife just lost her aunt and she can't go to the funeral.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, but it wasn't related to the virus. It was just age and illness. And then you hear of other people pass. Another friend the same day passed away of a heart attack and had nothing, not related, but it is related because of the stress that comes with not being able to work. And the stress can kill you. It really can. It's a proven thing. I lost 3 uncles, all are in their 40s from stress and heart attacks. And my dad went through the Great Depression, and his father died of liver failure, which was because he was drinking, because he couldn't handle it, couldn't raise 5 kids. So it's a weird time, and it does bring people together in a weird way, I think. I think
so too, yeah.
And I think, even you calling me, here you are with one of the most admirable jobs on the earth, one of the jobs that is to be celebrated, and for your bravery and your kindness and your caring for people. It's front lines on the ground, helping people. It's real, and it's deeply, deeply appreciated. I'm a softie for the truth of this, and just thank you for your service. It's crazy how great it is. So,
yeah.
But back to me, which is incredibly important. What was your question, or something you wanted to talk about?
Yeah. So no, my question to you is, what kind of weird projects have you, with the extra time, been getting done?
Well, it's interesting. I was about to go on a North American tour. I had to cancel the dates. In fact, I canceled my Canada dates right before it was fashionable to cancel them, because we saw it coming. And then everybody was going, no, you can't cancel them. No, you're a wussy. And then I canceled them. And then the next day, Alberta, Canada said no gatherings over 200. And I was playing a theater there. And then they canceled everything. And then they started closing everything. So every place I was going to go was shut down. And I would have not gotten back into the United States. So it was a sad but good call to make, to protect myself, but mainly to protect a whole bunch of people getting together during a pandemic in big cities. It was Vancouver and Calgary. And then I canceled the whole tour and rescheduled it. Didn't cancel it, postponed it till the end of this year. So like November, December. And then I'm in the process. I have a new hour of material for a new special, and I'm writing music for it. And then I've been doing this show, which is pretty important to me. So I'm diving deep in the ground in 2 feet. That's the worst way I could put that expression. I'm diving into mud. I'm in quicksand with this show. But I've also been writing quite a bit, and developing a movie project with someone, and believe it or not, developing 2 television shows, because you're able to do them. Development is something that takes time, so I'm able to do it with having a writer and writers and other producers, and you do Skype or Zoom meetings. Zoom has become part of my life, where you get to see all kinds of people all the time. And I'm also I've been doing it too. And have you been doing it with friends, or has it also been business? Yeah. Business work.
Family, friends. No, not with work, because we're there. But yeah, it's amazing how much everyone's been zooming.
Well, I can't thank you enough for calling, and I wish you so much. I'm deeply appreciative, and you just be well, and thank you so much.
Thank you. You be well too. Good luck to you and your family.
Thank you. You and yours as well. Bye-bye. Wow. That's a gift, a detective. a detective. That is so meaningful to me. That's crazy. Wow. All right, this will be my last call of this episode. And I think it's going to be a good one because, I don't know, I'm just making shit up. This is Jessica I'm calling right now. I don't know where she is. That's always good. It's always good for me not to know where you are. And when you call up, you can say, hey, I'd rather not say where I am. I'm fine with that.
Hello.
Hi, Jessica. It's Bob Saget.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Did you expect my call?
No.
Well, it's very nice of you to leave a message. Thank you.
Thank you for calling. Oh
You're
my God, this is crazy.
Jessica, where can you tell me what city you're in? Is that okay to say?
Yeah. I live in Jackson, New Jersey.
Jackson, New Jersey. And so
Yeah.
so you guys, are you on the same lockdown that the tri-state area is in?
Well, yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Are you staying at home pretty much?
Yeah. I haven't left the house in like 2 weeks.
I went out with my wife just yesterday for the first time, and we walked around about 2.5 miles or something like that. And it was the first time out.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to stay in for another week or two. 50 feet feels too close to be to other people right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a scary time.
yeah, it definitely is a scary time, and this too shall pass.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to say to people that are so affected and that have people that they love, and there's loss of life, and it's just incredibly strange. We've never gone through this, but we're going to make it. I know you feel that way too, and I think we all feel that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's just a question of listening and doing the right thing, and hopefully they come up with a vaccine sooner than estimated.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, how old a person are you, if I may ask?
What was that?
How old are you, if I can ask that?
18.
Me too, same thing. And I kind of locked in at about 9. But and so, are you with your family? Are you all locked up together?
We are. It's the worst.
It's the worst.
Yeah, there's been nonstop fighting all day, every day.
I've been hearing
We're
that.
We're just like so sick of each other.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that they can't take it. But I think there's a way that maybe I could be a mediator. I mean, there is a way to somehow everybody just calm down and realize we're stuck here, and we've got to get along. And but otherwise, it's still something you'll never forget. And it's forced family. It's like you would never choose to be spending Thanksgiving for 2 to 3 months.
Right. Yeah.
And
it's crazy. We really have been fighting all day, every day.
What are the main fights about? Just like nothing? Are they about minor stuff?
Just like, I don't know, breathing the wrong way. I don't know, just everything and anything.
Is there any way to tell everybody just to take it easy and let's stop picking on little things?
Yeah, we've tried. So we just like go in our own rooms and lock the door, and then we wait like 20 minutes and we're fine.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Timeouts are good.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Who starts the most fights?
Probably me.
So you're the one that needs to be in your room the most, probably.
Yeah. And then my sister gets bored and then will come in my room to hang out with me. So
is your sister older or younger?
Younger.
Oh, so that's kind of cute. So you guys do stuff? You go online and you mess around and stuff?
Yeah. We've been keeping busy.
And do you watch TV shows? Have you been watching any of the crazy stuff that's on?
Well, I did binge watch Full House the other day.
Not all 8 years, did you?
I did. It took me like 2 weeks.
Yeah, there's I think it's 200 episodes or something like that, right?
Yep. 2 weeks it took me.
Oh,
And I got my sister to watch it too.
well, I'm honored and I'm afraid for you.
No, it's I've watched religiously since I was like 6. My parents like got me the DVDs of every single season. I used to watch it every single day.
Well, it allows people to think of a thing. It's not possible that those 3 guys would be raising 3 girls, but it's also about coping. You know, it's not based on a happy story because they lost their mom. And so it's about,
Right.
it's kind of like some of the Disney movies where there's no mom, there's a dad, for a lot of the
Right.
female leads of the Disney cartoons that we loved so much. But this is,
Yeah, it's different. I think that's why a lot of people like it.
I think so too, and I think it brings back a kinder, gentler time that's a fantasy, and yet there was always a moral. And I would always, it was funny, I was tweeting with Candace, and we had an Instagram thing where I mentioned that I'd become Danny Tanner, and I've had to accept it because I've been vacuuming and cleaning and
Right.
disinfecting, and it's like real. I mean, it really is real.
Yeah.
And my
I
wife
can
is
only
like,
imagine you're probably
no, go ahead.
you're probably the real life Danny Tanner now.
At this moment, I totally am. My wife's been helping. I came home and she said, I mean, if Danny Tanner had a wife again, if he'd remarried, it would have been the same reaction. She said, I dusted today. I said, are you kidding me? That's amazing. It was like the most romantic thing I ever heard. And
Yeah.
it's hilarious, but we have to be incredibly careful. Like a delivery comes and
Right.
you got to wipe it off. And I don't think this is going to go away when this is over. I think we'll have a vaccine. It will be something that prevents most people from hopefully dying from it and from even getting it, because we've never had this particular disease or anything like it. So you had a question. So what was your question or comment or whatever you wanted to talk about?
Okay, so it is Full House related. So, like, what is the biggest? I came up with a new question right after I called yesterday. What is have you ever gotten into an argument with John or Dave, and what was it about?
That's a really interesting question.
My dad just said, "Are you serious?" So I just asked you.
Yeah, tell your dad I said, yo.
Really you?
Yeah, it is, sir. How are you?
I'm fine. Listen, I've been watching you for a very long time. Your stand-up show is awesome and raunchy. I love it.
Thank you very much.
So I'm wondering why you haven't cursed yet.
How I what?
I'm wondering why you haven't cursed yet. I watched.
No, because I'm talking to your daughter. I can't do that.
Well, she's over 18.
No, that's no reason. I'm still. See, this is the thing. I talk a big show, but I'm not that guy. You know, I don't talk that way around my daughters unless we're angry about something, not with each other, but over injustices or things that are really upsetting in the world as it is right now. But I will have, when this is all over, I have a new hour of material that will be coming out when I'm allowed to tour again. And I'll be in your area, I'm sure. So if you guys come to the show, all you have to do is say that it's you guys, that it's Jessica and family, and then you can come backstage, and we'll be able to take selfies by then. So things will.
Oh my God!
Yep.
Awesome! That would be awesome.
Guaranteed. I mean, I always played. Last time I was in Jersey, I played Inglewood a few months back. I always play New Jersey. I always play New York. I always play Philly. I'm always around because that's my stomping ground. I'm from Philly in New York. But
yeah,
from Philly, right?
Yeah. I was born there, and then I moved to Norfolk, Virginia, just to learn how to have a more difficult, awkward life. And then I moved to California, and then back to Philly. So, but I lived in New York for quite a while, and then now in L.A. But we're going through what you're going through. It's New York City. I've got 2 kids there. It's a rough go right now.
It's scary. Yeah.
It's very scary. So I promise you, my next special will have. It's a softer R, but it will definitely be the stuff that will bring you pleasure.
Very good. I love dirty work, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I've been talking to Norm Macdonald, and we're talking about a possible sequel, but I'm not allowed to talk about it, but we're talking about it. So he is so funny.
All right.
He's so funny. Thank you for the compliment, sir. And
You're welcome.
and no more fighting. And Jessica said she'll stop. So
Yeah.
everybody just go in their rooms and lock their doors, take a 5-minute breather, and then come out and eat meatloaf.
Yeah, definitely. We'll try that.
It was really nice talking to you.
You too. Thank
Oh,
you so much for
I wasn't saying goodbye to you, Jessica. I was saying goodbye to your dad. Because I didn't answer your question. You had you had a good question, which was, did John and Dave and I ever fight? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
It really is yes. I was a bit of because I was the straight person on the show. That means the non-funny one, but more like I was funny in character ways where I would dust bust a vacuum cleaner, which I did on TikTok recently, and many people enjoyed.
I follow you on there.
Oh, God, I can't believe it exists. And I can't believe I even want to do it. Somebody told me my TikToks were lame. I'm not dancing. I'm like, this is my version of TikTok. I'm into it. I wouldn't be doing it if I wasn't into it. I think it's funny. But, and I like,
it is funny.
It is funny, and it's kind of joyous for the most part, unless you look at all the politics that's on there, which is not always very fun before you go to bed. But
no, it's not.
No. But yes, Dave, John, and I are like brothers, very much so. And in the beginning, John and I weren't as close. And he's actually one of my guests on this show. One of my first guests he was. And it's a really interesting discussion because we talked about being in isolation, wishing we could do this live together. But we were on a FaceTime audio call. And we were talking about how we didn't get along in the beginning. And one of the arguments we had was I was, believe it or not, trained as an actor to really be in the person's face, be facing the person when I was doing a scene with somebody. And John had a lot of experience on television, had done sitcoms, had done single camera stuff, been on a soap opera, and for years, General Hospital, been a teen star. And learned that you do what's called cheating out. You kind of face the lens more so that you're bringing the audience to you a bit, like you're doing a play a little bit more. And I'd been on a guest on sitcoms, but I'd never done anything of consequence like Full House. And I was annoyed that he was like facing the audience and kind of not looking at me during a scene. And then I said, why aren't you? He says, I don't know where to look. He was yelling at the director about the cameras. And I was saying, why do you look at me? I'm right here. And he says, oh, yeah, give me acting lessons, Bob the comic. And then it was just this stupid argument over nothing. And then it ended up where we kind of split the difference, where he kind of faced me a little bit and I kind of faced out a little bit more. But he knew more about acting than I did. And blocking, and he always says that Dave and I taught him comedy. And now, obviously, I mean, I couldn't be any closer. He's been there for me, and so is Dave, in ways that nobody could ever. You know, it's like your brother or sister being closer than it's like your best friend of life, and he's definitely up in the top 2, 3, 4. I don't know. I've got a couple great friends.
Yeah.
I had a big fight with Dave one time because I was always immature and still am. And Dave was like really bothering me. I don't know why. And I spit gum in his hair.
Oh my God.
And he went, why did you do that? I went, I don't know. I'll take care of it. And I grabbed a pair of scissors and I cut his hair.
Oh my God.
I had to cut the gum.
God.
I spit on. I mean, that's basically, if you did that now, you'd basically give someone the virus. But then it was just an evil thing to do. And I still could have given him a cold, but I cut it out is what I told him I did. And that was supposed to be a joke. And I took the gum out of his hair, but he never forgot it. This is, I mean, 25 years ago.
Never let you live that one down.
He looks at me sometimes. He goes, "You spit gum in my hair," but I'll give you
Oh, that's funny.
one quick story of how close we were and are. A couple years ago, John and I went to dinner at 5:00 because John's like an old man. He loves to eat dinner really early and go to bed early and then get up early. He's like a farmer, except he doesn't work. But he was acting on a great new show that will be back when everybody's back. And he's being a great dad and husband and all that stuff. And I'm trying to do the same thing. And I have a great wife in the other room who I will see when we're done talking. And he and I we were at the Soho House in LA. Oh my God. And we were having early dinner at 5:00. And then Dave calls us and says, look, my mom is really sick. She has cancer and I don't think she's going to be around. What are you guys doing? And we left dinner and we drove an hour to where Dave lived at that moment. And we went to his house and we had done a Super Bowl commercial together because John had set it up for Dave and me to be in it. And Dave was wearing a onesie in that commercial. We were all in pajamas in one of the ads. And so Dave, we get to his house. He's in the backyard. He's drinking a glass of wine and he's wearing the onesie from the commercial. And he hadn't buttoned it up. And it was not a pretty sight. And he did it to make us, he just wanted to make us laugh. And we're sitting around the campfire. We, of course, got him to button himself up. And we just talked about our moms because John had lost his mom. I'd lost my mom. And it's something you don't want to happen, but life is life. And hopefully they get to live a really long time. That's why you should really appreciate this time with the family because you're young and life is so strange. You just want to look for just make everything just roll off your back. Just somehow just forget about it. And we laughed so hard and we cried sitting around a campfire. It was literally like a scene from Full House, except it was it was much bluer. It was, and then Dave made fart sounds for about half an hour. And then, he.
That always lightens the mood.
I'll tell you, it'll break any tension. As long as it does. But unfortunately, he does it for real as well. But then he says, "What are you worried about? It's right over the fire, And you can kill yourself. He could have imploded. He could have cauterized his butt shut. I've been worried about him. But
oh my God.
Anyway, I really appreciate talking to you. It's so funny that your dad was shocked because I wasn't cursing. Like that's not what I'm gonna do with you. So.
Yeah, that's funny. I came upstairs and I was like put it on mute and I'm like, Bob Saget's on the phone. None of them believed me.
That's so funny. So be safe and be as happy as you can and send my best to your family.
I definitely will. Thank you so much for calling.
My pleasure. Have a good, safe one. Take care.
You too. It was great talking to you.
You as well. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Well, that was just a nice way to end this episode. People are nice. You see so many people that are not. We tend to dwell on the negative people, and I can't do negative people anymore. I don't mean do. I can't. I don't do anybody. I do my wife. Wait, that's a verb. It's an action word. I can't take negative people anymore. I don't mind if they have something to point out of righteous indignation for something they believe in. But when people are kind like that and people are appreciative, we're all on this twirling big ball of water and land. You guys take care of yourself. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to Bob Saget's Here For You. And I will be here for you. And I ain't going nowhere because I can't. So I'll see you next time, and thanks so much, and just be well and be safe, and all my best wishes.